Outlaw motorcycle clubs, you're on notice. That seems to be the message that the feds are sending all the outlaw motorcycle clubs right now. We've had case after case after case where the feds have brought in multiple, I'm talking dozens at some time, in. My goodness gracious.
Rev it up, feel the roar, hit the road, let's explore. Insane Throttle bringing news by James Hollywood Mason Carey. Engine scream, we ride free. Truth and grit for you and me. From the streets to your screen. Biker news, the real scene.
Yeah, that has been the common theme this year is the feds moving on both the white and black set against motorcycle clubs, and they're hitting them with some hardcore Rico charges. Hardcore. Now, the reason why I bring this up, I was like, you know what? Just last week, I seen another story about it, talked about, how they are just being relentless. The other day's video, I was talking about how the cops all of a sudden in North Carolina, now they're putting together classes on how to respond. I don't think that the clubs really get it right now. They are not playing around. They are hitting everybody. The cops are now freaking, I guess the morale is high or whatever the hell they want to say because of who's in charge at the administration. I've talked about it and talked about it with Cash Patel there. You got Dan Bongino there now. And they're just going to go full force with what they have to do. Under the last administration, clubs might have got away with some stuff. Hell, even one got pardoned by Biden himself. But now is a whole different ball game, and we seen that where they took down 28 Mongols over that deal down in Daytona. And that sheriff down in Volusia, I think it was, years ago, he was sitting next to two FBI agents, I believe they were, and was claiming that clubs or outlaw clubs were domestic terrorists. So he's got his jollies going right now because they busted a whole bunch of people. Just look at some of the headlines from this year. The Houston landing, they took down in Texas a bunch of Bandidos. This from March 10th, 2025, just a few months ago. They say behind the Bandidos, detention hearings unveil military ties, criminal records, and buried lives. And we talked about it just the other day with the Wheels of Soul. You had the NCIS over there. They had a whole list of agencies that were involved in that takedown. Again, this was the Houston landing, and there was 14 current and former members, plus one of their support clubs, and they appeared in federal. See, they're doing all the federal stuff right now, and anybody that don't get it with the federal, you're never going to win. They got like a 98% conviction rate. And why do they have that? Because they have unlimited resources and you don't. And it goes on to say the detention hearings offered a glimpse into the mysterious and often cryptic world of outlaw criminal motorcycle gangs. Well, that would have been true years ago, but many times it's not mysterious and cryptic anymore because everybody's doing it on freaking camera. 4 of the defendants had military backgrounds, including a former Marine who served overseas at least 10 times. While some have extensive criminal histories, others maintain clean records. That one was from March. That was Bandidos. Now, it's not only the white set, they're going after the freaking black set, too. Outcast bikers face Rico charges in Georgia turf war crackdown. And it goes on to say where this happened in a parking lot. And what's even weirder, not weird, I guess you would say they're going to throw everything at them. Some of them are being charged under the gang terrorism laws. So while Georgia's Street Gang Terrorism Act has already netted 16 members, the U.S. Department of Justice is now eyeing federal RICO charges. And as it says right here, the same tool used to dismantle the mafia. So they're just not going after one set or another. It's all coming down. And it even mentions the last story that I talked about. They're using it against the Bandidos for murder, arson, and drug trafficking. And it goes on to say if the federal RICO charges hit the Outcasts, it could mean life sentences for the higher ups and a domino effect on chapters nationwide. That's what they want to do, is take you down. Then we go to another one, and this was updated just this month. So you see a pattern here of them really going after people. Operation Mongolian Beef. How they come up with some of these names, I don't know. Dozens arrested after violent shootout between rival Florida biker gangs. And we do have that right here on YouTube or Instagram, the video that they got right there. We have that. And they talk about Operation Mongolian Beef was, targeted at Mongols, and they claim warlocks. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that yet. I guess the investigation is still active, and more charges are expected in that. But they took down right here 28 people linked to the shootout. 28 of them. And they're throwing Rico right in their faces. And there is also a law where I guess they're charging them with enhanced protesting or something like that. They're pulling it out of the freaking their hats right now when it comes to charges. So you say to yourself, hey, Hollywood, why are you bringing up this kind of stuff? Well, it's simple to see what the heck they are doing. I think really it's maybe time for the leadership of some of these clubs to understand what they're facing if somebody under them is hit with something like this. Like it said, leadership could face life in prison. Life in prison for something somebody else did. That stinks, if you ask me. But where they said it's mysterious the way outlaw clubs work, it ain't mysterious anymore. Like I said, you got members all over the freaking internet right now that wear their colors, that you even got some that give advice or write blogs about the lifestyle. So it's not mysterious anymore. What has changed is law enforcement going harder and harder on these clubs. And it's sad because they give them all the evidence that they need. Seriously, they give them all the evidence. It's right there on the internet. They don't have to go out on the streets work it anymore. They just go on there and pop on TikTok. TikTok is the big one with that. Big one where all the I don't understand why clubs are letting their members go on TikTok. Other than, it's a good recruiting tool. And let's if we're being honest here, that's what it is a recruiting tool. But in the same, aspect, what you're getting is a bunch of attention and validation you don't need to get. But hey, I'm just a freaking guy that, reports on biker news and does a radio show in the morning and some lives at night here. I would just say, hey, maybe it's time to go back into the shadows and let the members know, hey, stop with all that internet stuff, or take care of stuff outside of the public eye, because these cases right here should put everybody on notice. They are not playing around anymore. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section. Don't forget the new Insanity podcast by Insane Throttle on YouTube, all the major podcast platforms, every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Go give a listen, man. We do a lot of stuff on that podcast, as well as go over to Insanity Music on any platform, YouTube, and get your playlist, baby. Rock on.